All right, let's move on. Sponsoring. Okay, so I gave you a whole lot of info on sales because it's the most important and it funnels everything else that you're doing. Sponsoring. So this is my quote. It's pretty cutthroat. If you're not getting results sponsoring, you're not doing it right. Whew, that's tough. You guys, that's who I am. I'm a D. I can't help it. I can't help it. I just don't want to help it. So if you're not getting results, you're not doing it right. So you might be thinking, well, then shoot, what the heck am I supposed to be doing, right? So I want you to consider, as you get to know your customers via private message, in person, you need to find out what they need and present the opportunity. I say this all the time. Present the opportunity in the way that they need to hear it. So it's very important. When I signed up, I needed money. Bad. I needed money and I needed freedom. That's what I needed, all right? I needed money and I needed freedom. So if somebody would have came to me and said, Holly, you should join Senegence, you're gonna make so many new friends, I would have run the other direction. I would have ran that way and never looked back because I do not need friends. I don't want friends, okay? I actually ended up needing friends and wanting them. I just didn't know it. But if anybody that knows me would not say that to me because that's not gonna do it. Okay. Just like I had this woman on that I was trying to convince her to join, and her husband and her, they had a Rolls Royce. They were very well off. So if I went to her and said, look, are you looking to make an extra $300 a month? I got some lip sense. I can teach you. She would have laughed because she doesn't need $300 a month. What she needs is a creative outlet. What she needs is something for her. What she needs is a way to connect with women that she might not otherwise because she doesn't ever leave her house. Okay, if I go to, somebody with no confidence and I say something like, listen, I know you've always been interested in makeup. You should do this with me. Let's get our MUAs together. And all of a sudden she's like, gosh, I could use that confidence boost. So sponsoring, the reason you're sponsoring no one is because you are doing a one blanket sponsoring pitch to 4,000 different types of people that, maybe you're hitting 1 in 100. So you have to be able to be like a chameleon. So when I'm offering the opportunity, I am speaking their language. I am giving them the opportunity in the way that they need to hear it. And that's very important. People want to join a winning team. When I first signed up to be a distributor, I was not winning. I had no wins. I was broke as a joke. Like I said, I was overwhelmed. I had 5 little ones I was raising. My husband was working 1 billion hours. But you can still show that you're winning when you haven't won very well yet. Like right now, people say, well, of course, you're gonna get sponsors. You've done this. No, I was winning the first day I signed up. I was winning before I actually had clout. I was winning before I had any rings, before I had a crown, way before. I was winning the day that I signed up. Why? Because of my attitude. I exuded joy. I shared the way that it made me feel. I shared what it did for my confidence. I was sharing how excited I was in a world where I was feeling so overwhelmed. And I was a mom with babies and trying to balance being a teacher and a wife and all of a sudden I sat up taller. I stuck my chest out a little bit. I was putting on makeup. I was smiling more and people saw these wins and they were adding up and people wanted more and people wanted to be a part of it. So it's not just about, oh, I earned my car. Oh, I earned this trip. Now, as I started to earn additional things, you have to be careful. You can't say, oh, I just paid off my house. That's not what people are looking for. The average person is not prepared for a $300 emergency, okay, or a $500 emergency. The average person is not prepared for that. So people are looking for small wins. You can't do financial claims or anything like that, and you shouldn't have to. But when you exude joy, when you're doing something like this, people can tell that you're having fun. It should not look like, your dog got run over when you are going live. I see people go live in a dingy, dark room, laying in bed. It's like the angle is it's like, hey guys, I'm thinking to myself, what are you thinking? It doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but you need so badly to lean in, smile. I don't want to be fake, but I'm enjoying myself. Why would anybody join me if I looked miserable? Okay, and you know what? There's gonna be times where you are miserable. Sad things happen to people. You have a bad day. But you know, when I was teaching, if I had a bad day, I didn't go into my classroom and let them all see that. That doesn't mean I'm fake. It means I'm doing my job. And sometimes you have to do your job. You got to pull up your bootstraps and do your job. But really with Senegence, I am very, very happy pretty much all the time. So I make sure that my customers can see that, they feel that, and I share all of my little victories so that as my victories became big victories, and guys, listen, my victories have been substantial. But the reason people relate to me is because they remember when I signed up and I had no victories, but I was just as excited with no victories. That's what you want to show. That's when people are going to say yes. That's when people are going to join you. Curiosity marketing, gosh, that's super important. I could do a whole thing on that. But curiosity marketing is basically when people are watching you live, consider what they might need. So for example, my girlfriend on here, she's my teammate, Jen. I keep seeing her name. Jen Bacigalupo, she has a full-time job. She works like 12 hours a day, okay? She's also one of the most successful girls on my team. Isn't it interesting? The people that have no time are usually the people that do the best in this company. It's like they shouldn't be doing well, but they're just hustlers, so they don't know how to do anything, halfway. So she works all the time. And so if I saw that she was watching my video and I wanted her to join me, and I know that she lacks time, if I'm live and I'm saying, oh guys, my son, he's trying out for the baseball team today, and gosh, I'm so stressed about it. But to be honest, I'm super pumped because this time last year, I wouldn't have been able to watch his tryout. I would have been, jammed with parent-teacher conferences, or I would have been jammed with XYZ. And I'm so grateful for Senegence because it's given me more time with my family. Do you think that might be attractive to Jen? I didn't do any claims. I didn't say I'm going to go retire myself, or I didn't say any of that because it wasn't necessarily the case at the beginning. I just said Senegence has given me more time with my family and I'm able to spend more time with my son. That's true. And I would say that and she would be attracted to that, as opposed to me saying, maybe necessarily, are you looking to make a couple of $100s a month? That might not be what Jen needs to hear. So you got to be able to pivot. Something else that is very important, people have different learning styles. If your kid has a teacher who said, you know what, I only teach auditory learners. Sorry, you're visual. Good luck. I'm only going to do auditory. That teacher would be fired, right? Because she wouldn't be doing her job. Yet here we are, and we are teaching to one type of person because that's probably how we learn. And so we just don't realize we're doing it. So we're just teaching the same way. And we have other learners out there watching that are just going to scroll by because you're not talking to them. You're not speaking their language. So I hear all the time, like, I'm a visual learner. I'm a visual learner. You hear people say that? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a visual learner. Are you? Well, then why are you sending 3 paragraphs of block text with no photo, no emojis, no spacing? Because that is the most hideous visual I've ever seen. There's nobody in their right mind that's a visual learner that's going to stop and look at that, right? So think about what people need and try to give them that. Something else to consider with sponsoring, and my team does this and I do this, and it's very important, is offer the opportunity to every customer every single time. I know that's shocking. Offer the opportunity to every customer every single time. I have a different method than Joni. Joni's method is amazing, and if you're terrified, Joni's method is incredible. So what Joni does is she says something like, if somebody says to her, oh, I'll take this medium powder and the tinted moisturizer, please. And she says, okay, great. Did you want to add in silk? Because you need a primer, and then you can upsell first. So, okay, yeah, sure, I'll add in silk. Okay, perfect. So you have 3 ways that you can pay. Number 1, I take cash, check, or charge. Number 2, you can become a Kiss and Tell preferred customer. You're going to get, it's $10 once a year. You're going to get 10% off on everything you purchase for a year. You're going to get Kiss credits, exclusive offers, sometimes free products with purchase. Or you can become a distributor and you can earn up to 50%. We bring home about half of everything that we sell. And I can teach you how to do this as a business. Which option would you like to choose? And nowhere in there was there an option for them to say no, because they're about to order. They said, I want to get this. Okay, how would you like to pay? You have 3 choices, A, B, or C. None of them are no. And if they say, oh, I'll just pay with cash, win. If they want to be a kiss and tell customer, win. If they want to be a distributor, win. You win no matter what. Offering it that way makes it so easy. The way that I do it, and I actually do this now too, but the way that I do it is I just send a voice memo. It's a 1-minute voice memo that I've curated, again, over 5 years of trial and error. Nobody has been told no more than I have. Trust me. But I've also never missed a lips trip. I've never missed any trip for that matter. And I've always hit every goal for sponsoring or sales that I've ever set for myself because I'm unwilling to quit until I achieve it, right? So that's possible. But I will say that most of my success has been from a willingness to fail and learn from my mistakes. That's something that I'm really, really good at. So when I mess up, I kind of can say, I've said this 3 times and nobody is biting. I need to switch my wording up a bit. Trial, error, and pretty soon I've been able to come up with something that has worked really well for me. So if you are going to send a voice memo, it needs to be under a minute. Talk like you're talking to your sister. If you send the voice memo to your husband or your sister, somebody that you trust, ask them if it sounds like you in real life or if it sounds like the robot you. Have you ever seen your friends go live or do stories and you're like, that does not sound like you. You sound weird. They're like, hey, we all kind of do that. You don't want to do that. You want to sound like you. You don't want to sound like a robot or like you're reading. And again, it comes with practice. And I always say this, my son Devin could literally give my opportunity pitch with his eyes closed, upside down, standing on his head, plugging his nose, because I've said it so many times. My son can recite it. And I've kind of, tweaked it. When we got a new distributor kit, I changed it. And I've just changed it as I've evolved as a distributor. Keep it simple. Give them an out at the end. One other really cool thing is I take a lot of pride on my team with having a big variety of types of women on my team. People that are in their teens, 18, 19 years old, social butterflies, type A, working professionals. My top distributor on my team is a physician. She actually is no longer a physician. Now she does Synergens full time. That's what's possible. I have tomboys in the 50s and 60s and 70s. I have ladies in their 40s who don't need the money but are bored out of their mind and need an outlet or something for them. Introverts, extroverts, people that are obsessed with, drugs or not drugstore, like department store brands like Mac or other companies. Moms, stay-at-home moms, of course. If you look at me, you're thinking to yourself, you're just going to attract a bunch of moms, right? Because that's what I am. You'd be shocked. I attract everyone because I make it a point to attract everyone. I don't just talk about I'm a hot mess mom 24/7, although I am. I talk about the opportunity in a way that a doctor is going to join me. And then an 18-year-old out of high school is going to join me instead of become a busboy. Or a 40-something professional sees me on stage going, I could use a little recognition. I want in. So our team is a gigantic variety because we intentionally sponsor everyone. Otherwise, I'd have a bunch of 35-year-old Hot Mess Express moms just like me, and I don't want a bunch of people just like me. That's boring, okay? So, although there's plenty of us, trust me. So keep that in mind when you're sponsoring. A couple of ideas when you're sponsoring is if somebody decides to join you, consider mailing them a physical letter. How cool would it be to ship them a cute little beauty book, maybe like a welcome letter, welcome to my team, and can't wait to help you launch your business. Something cute that costs you nothing, $3 to mail, and could be fun. Send a welcome email, and then I always send a messenger chat. I do have a newsletter that I send to my whole team, which talks about the fast starts and kind of, I have my own onboarding system that I created from scratch. You guys, it took me like 100 hours. But I send the link to that. If you have an upline or a crown princess, I'm sure they have some sort of onboarding system that you can get them plugged into. And it's very important when somebody joins that you get them started immediately. So my goal is to have them making money in less than a week. Boom. So also something to consider. All right, I'm finally here. Team leadership. Okay, so we talked about sales. Sales really leads into everything else. So that's why it was so long. Then we have sponsoring, and then of course team leadership. Now this is my favorite. So speed of the leader, speed of the pack. Your team, if you have one, first of all, comment below. Let me know if you have a team, and if so, how many people are on your team? 1, 5, 10, 30, 500. Speed of the leader, speed of the pack. Whatever you personally are doing, the majority of your team will do about 30% of that. Okay, that might not be comforting, but the majority of your team is not going to work as hard as you. So you kind of need to really show up consistently. And when you're running, your team is more likely to run as well. Okay, this is important. Some of the best coaches in Senegence, and I wrote this again in 2018, or some of the best coaches ever are not necessarily the top in sales. They might not be the top sponsors. There are some people that are excellent coaches that might not have been able to play the sport that well themselves, but they're excellent communicators, motivators, organizers. They're great with working together with people. So some of the best coaches are not always the best players, and vice versa. Sometimes, have you ever seen somebody that's amazing at sales and they can't lead their team to save their life? I take a look at this and go, I have my brother who was an incredible football player. I was trying to have him show my son how to play football, and he got so frustrated he couldn't explain what he was trying to say, and he was horrible at coaching, turns out. Best player you could ever see, couldn't coach for beans, all right? Then you have people that are so excellent at coaching, they might not have that skill that, they might not be selling 40,000 PV, but they can get their team to do anything because of their credibility, their leadership, and that's okay, all right? So when I was kind of looking, I made a list to my team, like, what makes a successful team? Because once you start to build a team, it's not easy to keep your team unless you are intentional about it. And so I asked my team, like, what makes our team specifically successful? You'll know my team because when there's an event, we have the most people. Everybody on my team shows up to events. We already have over 60 people coming just to seminar not because of me. They're obsessed with each other. All these girls, they could give they don't care about me at all. They want to see each other. They're in each other's weddings. They're showing up for each other's birthday parties. They didn't know each other before Senegence, and they are just absolutely obsessed with each other. They come anytime they have an excuse to get together, learn together, be together. They want to, right? So why? Well, we have created a culture of family. We have created a culture of belonging. Everybody's a part of the team. Not everybody is best friends with everybody. That's not the point, but everyone should have someone. All right, so you want to have a successful team, you need to connect these people immediately to others. All right, there's a lot of different ways to do that, but my team specifically, these are some of the things they said. I'll show you. All right, so here, the family aspect that pushes each other to reach our goals. The support factor, regardless of if you need it or not. It was crazy to hear many Dominions aren't supportive. Now, this is, again, back in 2018, a lot of people hit really high goals and then kind of their teams fell apart. And so some other Dominions had commented that, they've kind of fallen apart. The monthly challenges that we do, they give me an outline. A visible CP. We have the opportunity to pair up with other like-minded women. Rank doesn't matter. If somebody needs help, they get it. Molly doesn't put her CP crown on and sit on a throne. She's right in the trenches. Our team is unique because we all support and work together, always. Everyone steps up to help each other regardless of what line they're on. We've cultivated a community, like a community of support. I think it's good that we share trainings. We step up for each other, work together. A visible CP. I just joined this group and it's already helped me so much. The challenges and the ladies on the team push me to be my best. Another thing is because of these mixed team challenges, we have gotten to know people on different lines and different legs. We celebrate each other's victories. Visible leaders. So we celebrate everything. And what the common trend is for my team is that we are a family. That's basically what it comes down to. Everybody's important, everybody matters, everybody's involved. And it really shows. It truly, truly shows. I give challenges usually monthly or bi-monthly. Again, the people on your team have different learning styles, just like your customers. It's really kind of people in general in life have different learning styles. For example, have you heard the love languages? Some people have different love languages. Some people are words of affirmation. They really just want me to tell them, hey, you just did a great job on that video. Wow. Another person is really not looking for the big, celebratory, some people want the big post and everybody goes crazy because they want that recognition. Other people just want a quiet, like, I saw you. You did well. Great job. That means more to them. Some people want to meet for coffee. They want the quality time, so I know it's a complex job, but getting to know people is really the important part. Connect different lines from different lines. So we do team challenges. People are on all different lines connecting. Let's see. Similar to a really large church, when you have a large church, what do they try to do? They try to get you in small groups so that you actually belong to a little small family, so you're not just lost in this large space. My team group has 2,000 people in it. You join and you feel like nobody's going to notice if I do nothing. That doesn't happen in our group. We're getting you connected immediately. All right. And if people are connected, they don't quit. That's just the truth. Let's see. Creates buy-in, create trust, and lead by doing. One of my favorite things about my team is that I'm not the only person doing something. On my team, the maidens and above, they are so involved. They are helping, leading challenges. Right now, my girlfriend Melissa and Laura, they are leading a full Valentine's Day party for our Dominion. Different ideas, different people, different personalities, different is always really accepted. When you go live in your team group, you better have that sense of urgency, like you are on fire, like you are excited. Again, just like in your customer group, if you're live going like, I just got this new lipstick. I left it upstairs, but I'll show you tomorrow. Are you kidding? Just like if you're live going, guys, I got this team challenge. Does anybody want to do it? I didn't really quite think about what it is yet, but who's in? No. You first prove yourself by showing them, by doing it yourself. And pretty soon, when you tell people that you're putting something together, they won't even question it because they know you would never lead them astray. That comes with time and consistency. If you have negativity or, you got to squash that immediately. No time for it. Encourage your girls to have a relationship with your uplines. So my upline, Haley Truesdell, and then my next upline, Autumn Flores, and then my next upline, Nicole Sirico, and then Jenna Hershey. So I've got these uplines that are so different from me, completely different, starting with Haley. She's in her 20s, long, gorgeous hair. She's so Instagram savvy, just beautiful, inside and out, kind, sweet, quiet, totally the opposite of me. It's helpful for my team to have her because she gives them something that I don't, right? It's not a threat. She is talented in different areas. And having my team have access to her is just benefiting everyone. All right, so that's something I encourage my girls to have relationship with your upline. Even if you and your upline don't necessarily have a relationship, it doesn't matter. They still might have something to offer. So I think that's important. And I'm not going to go too much further. I think that's pretty much it. The last thing I'm going to say is anything that you want to achieve in this business, whether it's sales, sponsoring goals, team challenges. When I was a teacher, I learned how to backwards plan. Take a calendar, whatever amount of time you have, divide it up by what you want and how much time you have, and then plan backwards. So, for example, if you need to do 1,000 PV, that's 250 PV a week. Okay, I can break that up into maybe 50 PV a day, 5 days a week when I'm working. I'm gonna get there. Backwards planning with challenges, incentives, anything that you're doing with your team, sales. Sponsoring, maybe you're trying to get to Ruby sponsor, so that's 6, you need 2 per month. Backwards plan, and it makes it so much more attainable. So, listen, you asked me to train, and I can't help but just tell you everything that I know. I could talk for a million trillion years. I know this was so long, but it's gonna live in here forever. So watch it in chunks, because if you know me, you know I don't know how to be quiet. So I hope this has been helpful. I want you to stop right now, and if you took any notes, I want you to cover the whole thing and just take a breath, because you might listen to this training and think, oh, well, that's why I'm not successful, because I'm not psycho and I don't do 8 billion things like you, Molly. It's not normal, right? No, that's not what the goal is. The goal is what you do with one person, what you do with one customer, what you do with one downline, what you do with one is what you will do with many. So when you're in a position that you are just starting and you got one customer, give that best customer service. Put a plan in place for a follow-up system. Go back and ask yourself, like, did I do it the right way? Do it the right way when you have one person, and I promise you, you will be entrusted with more. And when your team grows, it'll be easy to keep it up because you'll have done it right from the beginning, all right? And that's pretty much it. So sorry that I went forever, but actually I'm kind of not, because I feel like this stuff is good, right? This is knowledge. So listen in chunks, listen when you can, maybe just listen to the sales, come back and listen to the other sponsoring and team leadership. And for goodness sakes, get your behind to seminar. I can't wait to see you there. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Super Bowl. See you guys later. Bye.